and the sound. And once again, cuts off the internet. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, and it's cutting off when you go live. But other than that, let's continue.
Feel to be a race trader.
You know, we were trying to get right?
No, you weren't.
Yes, we were.
How would you know?
Because woman you talked to.
His wife. I was going to say, calling someone a race trader.
But you guys don't care.
I hope you realize that is the most that you can say as a white woman.
Of course.
Of course it is, because they know they're.
This isn't a good look for you.
Therefore, we're going to go. You think I care about my look?
No, no, trust me. It is evident by how you look, you don't care. Trust me. It is evident. We get that, trust me. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying this, trying to be a social warrior, if you actually cared, you probably would care about the child who got, and also the person who got by the person that we were looking for. But see, you don't care.
No, I don't care.
Exactly. They don't care about children. They don't care about nothing but their own little personal virtue signaling.
Exactly. Thank you.
They are literally admitting that they are terrible people in 4K. When are y'all going to believe that?
It is evident by how you look, you don't care.
Another reason why I had to expeditiously leave the liberals. I realized that the most people I have ever met in my black ass life have been liberal. The only thing they want to do is hide it. When you meet a conservative, he'll wear it on his chest. A liberal will try to fight voter ID laws in order to protect their fraud with votes.
That's crazy.
But they disguise it under the guise of minorities won't have access because those
voter IDs are not racist.
IDs. And we're going to say this to their faces, and they're so stupid, they're not going to be insulted. But let's talk about the voter fraud, though, because I made some pretty serious accusations, right?
Because the first election I voted in was Trump's. I've never voted in a midterm. I've never voted.
What?
I have never voted in a midterm election. Ever.
All right.
I've never voted in a primary. Ever.
Tell us that again.
Oh my gosh.
Right, so what we see here is someone voted in your name for a midterm
That's crazy.
primary. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 presidential elections. You're saying you did not vote in.
I can tell you that I'm a bad, I can tell you I'm a bad patriot. The first time I got voted relative to President Trump, that's my first presidential election. I have never voted in a midterm. I have never voted in another presidential election. This is all a lie. I am so upset.
So we're looking at 2 presidents.
Excuse me? You see, this is why these Democrats don't want voter ID. You know what? You need ID for everything. You can't buy a liquor without ID. You don't think it's important to prove who you is when you voting? Yes, you do. You want the fraud to continue. We done caught y'all red-handed. This is 2026, bitch. We got the internet. This is not 1995 or whatever year, whatever playbook y'all operating out of. The shit is outdated. You can't lie to the people anymore. We catch you in 4K.
Leader Jeffries, you recently stated that requiring proof of citizenship to vote in elections is voter suppression. Can you explain how requiring proof of ID is voter suppression?
That's not a statement that I ever made.
You sure about that?
Then you should have brought the SAVE Act, which is a voter suppression bill that we strongly oppose, to the floor.
And you don't think it reeks of foul play to any regular thinking person? Bitch, we got the internet. This is not 1995 or whatever.
I gotta play it again.
Whatever. Outdated. You can't lie.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm gonna play that clip again because that's how he lied. He lied. Watch this.
Anymore. We catch you in 4K.
Leader Jeffries, you recently stated that requiring proof of citizenship to vote in elections is voter suppression. Can you explain how requiring proof of ID is voter suppression?
That's not a statement that I ever made.
You sure about that?
Then you should have brought the SAVE Act, which is a voter suppression bill that we strongly oppose, to the floor.
Amazing. Let's continue.
And you don't think it reeks of foul play to any regular thinking person that you don't want people to prove who they are when they're voting?
Right.
It's common
Subscribe.
sense.
Just common sense.
When you so blatantly go against common sense, you clearly evil and up to no good. Just like when y'all said children can change their genders, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to any regular grown-up that you don't need any identification to vote. You need identification to do everything else. It's damn common sense.
Americans need an ID to drive, to open a bank account, to buy cold medicine, to file government assistance. As is noted by the leader, you even need an ID to attend events of most Democrat politicians and even the Democrat National Convention. So, why would voting be any different than that? They can't answer that question.
I can answer the question because they're committing voter fraud.
And it's through eyewitness testimony that's been corroborated by others through their eyewitness statements that 130,000 to
That's crazy.
280,000 completed
Subscribe,
ballots for
everybody.
the
Good morning.
2020 general election were shipped from Bethpage, New York to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where those ballots and the trailer in which they were shipped disappeared.
And so they come up with all these crazy excuses of why they can't support it.
This is election rigging. This is voter suppression. The American people aren't going to stand for it, and nobody should vote for it.
This is an 80% issue. And by the way, over 70% of Democrats support this.
The Save America Act is just another part of a scheme by House Republicans and the Trump administration to take over our election.
Democrat elected politicians are totally out of touch.
Good morning, Slurs. Good morning,
They've
Brad.
attempted so many arguments to oppose the passage of this simple legislation.
What this bill does do is make other problems and make it harder to vote. It undermines our democracy.
And this is, I think, if you look at 2024 election, it was the return of common sense, and nothing could be more.
Right. Since everybody voted for Trump, both elections, black and brown, and mostly men, now they're trying to replace our votes for the illegal votes. And they even earned a vote. So let them, they even earned it. They come here bogus as hell. Bogus. Hurting our women, our kids, sending money overseas. They don't care about no America. They ain't trying to respect our values as Americans. Send their ass back.
More common sense than actually having to prove through voter ID that you are who you say you are to vote in our elections. If we believe in secure elections, this is absolutely something we should do, and you have to do it to check into a.
And Congress got to voting. They need their IDs to go vote. So they want to stop. Yeah, that's amazing. Let's continue.
Hotel to buy a plane ticket, right? Everybody understands that. Why would the Democrats oppose it? It's interesting it's happening at the same time as we're having this illegal immigration debate in this country. Because effectively the Democrats know they can't win elections fairly and they want to cheat.
See, that's what these liberal liars do. Their extreme views aren't popular, so they lie and manipulate. And for a long time, they were able to manipulate y'all's emotions.
Thank you.
Because y'all were so afraid to tell.
Let's grow together. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Blanket. Thank you.
I wonder why people consider me so brave. Because I'm not afraid to tell anybody that they're dead wrong. And I don't care if I stand alone while I do it. You crazier than shit. You need to vote. And we saw what happened to that poor Caucasian lady.
I've never voted.
What?
I have never voted in a midterm election.
The fact that happened just once should be enough to make Americans be like, yeah. Oh, and by the way,
this is an 80% issue. And by the way, over 70% of Democrats support this.
Americans at like a 75 to 80% clip think overwhelmingly you should prove who you are when you vote.
Right.
But these Democrats, these donkeys.
This is election rigging. It's just another part of a scheme by House Republicans.
It undermines our democracy.
They want to keep the fraud going. It's just like when Elon Musk came into the government to look for fraud and waste, and the only people hollering were the Democrats. I got news for you, bitch. If somebody comes in to look for fraud and waste, and you're complaining about it, you're the fraud. More importantly, You're the fraud, because usually the waste doesn't really know it's waste. You're angry because you don't want the money to stop, because that's what it's about. Y'all get into the government and you think, okay, I got access to all this government money now. I got to figure out how to get some. Wait. Trump wants us to live in a modern world of transparency? Oh no, we can't have that. We got to commit voter fraud. More importantly, we are seeing that us and our extreme values and the fraud is not popular in America these days, and we're going to continue to lose the popular vote because these people have the internet. We can't just tell them anything.
Right.
We get caught lying in 4K every day.
You recently stated that requiring proof of citizenship to vote in elections is voter suppression.
That's not a statement that I ever made. You should have brought the SAVE Act, which is a voter suppression bill.
So we're not popular anymore. The only way we can win is to cheat. And what did Biden do? They imported a whole bunch of potential new voters because they've lost the soul of America. So they think if we import a bunch of people, they'll be forever loyal to us.
Right, you had dead people voting. Makes no sense.
We ain't 2 years in yet. You hear me? And if you think Donald Trump is not going to be the Bill Walsh of presidents, you crazy as hell.
Right.
You see, Bill Walsh changed the NFL.
Thank you, guys.
Bill
Thank you.
Walsh was the head coach that made everybody rethink everything. Bill Walsh had the coaching tree that had so many Super Bowls after that. People are disciples of Bill Walsh to this day. You don't think future presidents are going to see that Trump was the most popular president we've had in a long time? You don't think they're going to operate like cuz? Shit.
Amazing. Thank you. Let's continue. That shit crazy.
Oh, man. Just when you think the left couldn't go any further, then they take it even further, right? I can't believe this is even happening. I can. Because the left has shown time and time again that they'll just stop at nothing to do and say some of the most ridiculous and wildest things ever, especially if it's against Republicans and most certainly against Donald J. Trump. We got to talk about this because, as I'm sure you guys have heard, there was a white liberal who called it a black ICE agent. Actually, I think I talked about the video. Yeah, I did post about it. There was a white liberal who called a black ICE agent a house N-word with the hard R. And that wasn't the only instance that I've seen online. There was another white liberal, and it was for sure a white liberal because I know the first video was a little in question, like maybe it was the black guy in the back. This one was for sure a white liberal. She called a black ICE agent the N-word with the hard R. And now we have liberals defending.
Right. They defended the hard R against the ICE agent because they don't like him being an ICE agent. That makes no sense. He's doing his job. We voted for this. But everybody got upset when a lady called, I guess, the kid in the park that stole out her park, the N-word. She got fired, whatever, and she ended up getting the millions of dollars for calling a kid the N-word. Now, it's okay to call somebody an N-word because they're ICE agent. You don't like what's going on. Y'all voted for the BS. Y'all voted for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. We got this BS going on because y'all voted for the stupid shit. Common sense. Sleepy Joe was sleeping the whole entire time, all 4 years. Oh, he's sharp as a tack. He's cool. Kamala Harris is the border person. Take care of the border. So Trump got Tom Homan that Obama had to clear the border up. Now we got Tom Homan from Obama that had. Now it's an issue. How is Tom Homan the bad guy? I mean, y'all praised him the first time. He got a medal from Obama, thumbs up. Even ABC did a ride-along with ICE agents. No issues at that time. They did a ride-along. talked about it, brag, thumbs up. Now Trump people doing it. It's the issue. Go out there and block them. Go kill yourself, basically. That's all they trying to tell y'all to do, these governments. Tim Walz, all of them. Go kill yourself. They ain't out there stopping the ICE agents. That's crazy.
At least some of them. And one prominent one that we'll get into. But before we get into that, I want to post a little bit about this backlash, because not every liberal is in agreement, or every black person is in agreement with this. I don't know if this chick is a liberal or not. Can make assumptions, but check it out.
Moment in this day and this time where I will ever excuse a white person calling a black person the N-word. And I'm actually quite disgusted that I would see this video during Black History Month from a black person.
99.9% of the time, it is wrong for a white person to call a black person the N-word, but we may have found the exception. In Minneapolis recently, a white anti-ICE protester was in a group of anti-ICE protesters yelling at a black ICE Gestapo agent. An unidentified white...
You cannot be... You cannot be anti-ICE and anti-black. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. You cannot be anti-ICE and anti-black. And Touré, as a black person and as a journalist, you have now created a frenzy of people in your comments chopping out the bit to use the N-word. And I'm sure that as a journalist that you know that by the 1920s, there were nearly 3 to 5 million members of the KKK, meaning that
the N-word don't bother me. My own people call me the N-word since I've been growing up, so it has no power anyway. But the fact that they saying it's okay because they don't like the ICE agent, it makes no sense at all. Amazing. And Trump said that you go nuts.
On your people. In addition to the fact that so many of you are contextually using house N-word outside of the line. Historically, the enslaved that were held inside of the home were often faced with the most intimate physical and sexual violence while being under a 24-hour revolving door of surveillance of their mistress and master, while being completely separated from their families and on call day and night. But this is what you want?
Thank you.
By your definition, then the only house nigga that I see around here is you.
Once again, like I said, not everybody agrees. And that is beautiful to see. It is beautiful to see. Because, as I've told you guys before, I've been called every name under the sun, right? Uncle T, the C word, all of it, right? All of it. And to hear somebody give an excuse for a racist white liberal to call an ICE agent who's doing their job, right? Not a slave, not somebody who is doing something that they don't want to do, right? Someone who signed up to do a job and they're executing that job. This man gave an excuse to call them a house N-word. But I'm a slave, right? Liberals will call me the
Zach
slave.
stayed home.
It seems like actually
wow, that's how you feel?
Liberals are genuinely the slaves and not black conservatives, okay? Because to make
I'm just an American.
Like this is just crazy. But here's the video clip, ladies and gentlemen.
99.9% of the time, it is wrong for a white person to call a black person the N-word, but we may have found the exception. In Minneapolis recently, a white anti-ICE protester was in a group of anti-ICE protesters yelling at a black ICE Gestapo agent. An unidentified white male called the black ICE agent a house N-word who's working for the KKK. That's right, we have a white man calling a black man the N-word.
Most of the ICE agents are mixed. So how they work, I don't get it. Y'all, this guy here is funny. He be on CNN, just straight gaslighting. And he was upset when the lady called the kid an N-word, but now it's okay because of the agendas going on. Make it make sense. Name calling is not good.
But this is a little bit different. White on black usage of the N-word is a very serious issue. But this is a curveball example. Is it wrong for a white person to call a black ICE officer a house N-word? Let's explore. The white man who used the N-word in this situation was being historically precise. This black
Historical.
ICE agent, he is being a house N-word to the utmost degree. A black man in ICE is a modern house slave. He's a barely paid mule for white supremacy.
What's wrong with his
The
eyes?
KKK were domestic terrorists. ICE is domestic terrorism. I think this is a valid usage of the N-word. He's not attacking his blackness per se. He's attacking his bootlicking choice to be in ICE
Right, name
while
calling.
being a black.
Right, bootlicking, all this name callings for what? Because you disagree with somebody, so what? Let the man do what he got to do. Name calling anybody's not right.
Man, being black in ICE may.
So why do you say the N-word with the hard R? Why not just say house black person? Exactly. This guy is, bro, this is crazy, man. Liberals will stop at nothing. Like I said, just when you thought they couldn't go any further, you got this. You have this. Now, mind you let Donald J. Trump say this, and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, cities will burn to the ground. Cities, I mean, they will absolutely burn.
Good morning, Bruce.
And now you have this guy making an excuse. Oh, yeah, it's fine. You know, it's fine, guys, because, you know, he's doing a job that we don't like. So, yeah, we can call him the house N-word. What?
Passion 8. It's crazy.
Oh, my goodness. You can't make this stuff up, bro. They lost their minds. And I thought about making a video on this, but I was... Y'all got to forgive me. Some days I'm just way too annoyed to even bother doing that. I was going to make a video on... I'm sure you guys saw the post that Trump had posted, or his assistant had put up, where it had the Obamas as monkeys at the end.
You missed the 90s, man. Same here. I'm 43.
Video.
43, the 90s, man, was something else.
It was a screen recording, and once the first clip ended, like, it scrolled to the next video clip. And they didn't cut off the very end of the video.
Oh, yeah, nice and sunny out here in Rockford.
Shit happens, right? I mean, my videos are never perfect. Sometimes I forget to do certain things, and, you know, stuff happens. And that was that situation. And, bro, oh, my goodness. Liberals lost their minds over it, as if he made the video. They're still talking about it. But now you're giving an excuse for white people to call black people the N-word with the hard R? My goodness, man. I'm gonna let him finish though.
You a house N-word. So to call you that, it's almost like a professor pointing out, oh, look, there's a modern house N-word. I think this usage is valid and acceptable if it had just been the N-word. That would be problematic. But when he adds the house N-word, he's being historically realistic. So yes, it is okay to call black ICE agents house N-words. They are.
You know what's crazy? Liberals will call me the sellout. I'm the black sellout. If that wasn't selling out, what you just saw, then I don't know what the hell is.
That's
I don't know
definitely
what the
selling
hell
out.
is.
That man is straight tap dancing.
Oh, man. My goodness. My goodness. If the leader of the KKK came out, I guarantee you this, if the leader of the KKK came out right now and said, F ICE, we support the Democrat Party, which they probably do, to be completely honest, you would see liberals line up to become KKK members. You would see liberals across this country, some black ones, like the one you just saw, Torre, putting on white hoods.
Yeah, it was better back in the 70s and 80s and the 90s. We didn't have all this damn technology. All the technology, attention span gone. You can't do a whole 10-minute video and expect somebody to watch the whole 10-minute video. They ain't gonna watch it. Only like 2 minutes of it or less, and that's it. Attention span is messed up now.
And this is why I posted about it would be hilarious if Trump came out and said, if Trump came out and said, hey, to all illegals in this country, if you pledge to support the Republican Party in these midterms, you can get full citizenship. I guarantee you, if he said that, Democrats would automatically flip. I'll not deport all of them.
Shit, in the 80s and the 90s, we was outside playing basketball.
Go right out.
We was outside playing basketball with the little mini basketballs in the alley on the crate. We had the orange and black crates. We'll nail it to the light pole, which was wooden, and we get our hoop on. We'll dunk on it. We'll snatch it down. We'll nail it to the light pole, well, electric pole, which is wood. We'll nail it up there, and we'll dunk on it, nail it up there, dunk on it, and tear it down, get a whole new one with the little mini balls. Man, that was fun back then. Now these kids don't go outside like that. They distracted with the video games. Internet shit. Man, the 90s.
The window, and it would be absolutely hilarious. I had another clip of him, making up a bunch of more excuses. And matter of fact, I am going to show y'all this because this is just crazy. But it's not just him. There's people that actually agree with him. Believe it or not, check it out.
The black delegation has been deliberating this issue for a few days, and I think we have a consensus. He gets a pass. On behalf of the white delegation that believes we should never say...
This man did not speak for us at all. I don't know why this man getting this much attention.
...that word and believes we should work to end racism, we request a one-time pass and send apologies on behalf of all of us.
I have no problem with technology. It's the young generation that has a problem with technology. I'm cool.
Response. The reason why the N-word is permissible in this specific instance is that black ICE agent should hear the worst possible
like a lesbian
coming at him.
That's a good one.
He should hear words that hurt him to his core. He should think, wow, they really hate me. They feel justified to say anything to me. Only the...
Bro, this is just some crazy stuff, man.
The comments on Instagram are against me.
This is just crazy.
It hurt. I think it's also important to note that it was the first thing that elicited a reaction from the agent, and you could see that it hurt. The officer is seeking white approval, so he needed to hear the white disapproval for it to sink in. The light in his eyes changing when he realized what he was being called mean it hit home. That man needed to hear it from a white. His family been trying to tell him. The great visual artist Rashid Johnson, nope. Yes, it's fine. The black ICE officers have been kicked out the community. We don't want them back.
Yeah, so there are some folks who actually genuinely agree with him. Crazy. Once again, I'm going to be considered the sellout.
Well, I've been called a sellout. My black card's been taken away. I'm like, I didn't know I needed a black card. I was born black. So how you gonna take something from me? And fuck that card. I don't need no card. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think this guy might need some of his own white approval. Amazing.
Okay. All right. Right. The number of times I've heard people tell me that, I'm sucking up to the white man, or right. I've seen the comment, the white man will never love you. And then I see this from black liberals at this. Black Democrats. I see this. It's just like, what the? If this ain't sucking up, then I don't know what is.
Right.
This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Woo.
CNN, the worst news network ever. This black woman is saying voter ID is racist. The Republican, the white guy, asks, how is it racist? Her logic is racist. And watch how the entire panel melts down.
What voting rights is he taking away from black voters? Oh, if we look at
the SAVE Act?
the SAVE Act, that's exactly what we're talking about. That is actually going to continue to disenfranchise overwhelmingly a lot of people of color. There are so many civil rights organizations that have run the data. If we look at the way that it is going to disenfranchise Black voters, it's the same reason why Chuck Schumer called it Jim Crow.
Right, that's it.
So it's the same president. If we want to continue,
You haven't said how yet.
I am talking about it. It's the way that you're putting new poll taxes on this when you're making people have. That's what we can call them now. It's kind of an idiom, right? If you want to say that people have to prove that they are citizens, that they have to prove with a voter ID, the reality is you're layering what is a constitutional right for the American people and making it harder for people to vote in this country.
Subscribe. Thank you.
The poll taxes are people having to pay the money to have IDs. What they call it, a poll tax. Something you need to function in society with anyway. That's not a poll tax. It's just a regular tax for everybody. If you even can call it a tax for you to function in a society. But they're labeling it as a poll tax? Yeah. What? Well, when you look at this, like, there's a lot of Black people. Well, there's a lot of people on government assistance. In order to get that assistance from the government, you have to show your ID. And we're talking about the poorest, uneducated people on this planet are getting government assistance, and they're forced to show their ID. Yeah. But you're not going to ask for that same request when we're voting? I wonder why. Boggles the mind, right? Yeah.
And it's going to disenfranchise Black voters.
Concern you that you're making all these claims? You've yet to lay out how it's hurting anyone, but 76% of Black voters think we should show an ID to vote. 80% of Hispanic voters, 83% of the American people. Are you saying that Black voters are too dumb to know what's good for them? I mean,
right.
That's exactly what she's saying. Yeah. The Black people need special privileges in order to function in a normal society. We have to accommodate them because they're not as quick and up to par as whites or Latinos. Yeah. They're pretty much stupid. They can't figure out how to register to vote. Yeah. They don't know how to use a computer. Joe Biden said that. Did Joe Biden say that? Yeah. Was it him that said that? Well, I think it was Joe, because it was a big thing where he said that some people don't know how to get an ID, some people don't know how to use a computer. Yeah.
Sounds pretty condescending. That's not right. You get 3/4 of Black voters who want voter ID.
But that's not clear.
It makes no sense. It's 2026. How nobody get no ID right now? That makes no sense. All this technology, nobody can get an ID.
It's not just about ID. It's the SAVE Act is about of citizenship.
So
it doesn't.
Yeah, which you can clearly show with your real ID, your driver's license. Yeah, your state identification card. Yeah, but to be safe, if you've been married or you had a name change, a passport would be fine. Yeah, but you don't even need a passport to. The SAVE Act does not require you to have a passport. Right. It's just you gotta have an ID to prove your identity, so they can make sure you're a citizen. You don't actually have to prove to them that you're a citizen. You just give them your ID and they'll prove it. We all have documents to prove that we're citizens. Birth certificate, social security card, driver's license. Well, who's walking around society without a birth certificate or a driver's license? It just sounds crazy. You can't even get cold medicine without an ID. Maybe Black people can't get cold medicine. All these Black people that can't function in society because they're too stupid to get an ID. There should be mounds of this evidence out there. Yeah.
I actually.
It also makes it very hard for married women who.
I was just going to say. We talked about this before.
Okay, so now the woke woman from The View. Yeah. She's bringing up. Okay, how about these women that got married and their name, their married name is not going to match the identification card. There's been this great invention called a marriage certificate. And that allows you to change your name on your identification cards, your driver's license, your social security card. Like I seen this one Democrat, she said, if your name doesn't match your birth certificate, you can't vote. You can't change your name on your birth certificate. That's going to always have your maiden name as a woman. You can't change that. Yeah, the thing about the SAVE Act, it doesn't make it harder for American citizens to vote. It makes it hard for people to cheat and for non-citizens to vote. That's the whole purpose behind it. For them to say that it's going to make it harder for American citizens, It's so bad. It's so disingenuous, and they're bad faith actors. I believe truly, deep down in my heart, I think a lot of Democrats, especially these blue areas, with these sanctuary laws, I think, man, some stuff is finna get exposed when this SAFE Act passes. Yeah, you see all that fraud going on in Minnesota. Yeah. Imagine how much voter fraud is going on. Yeah. And look at all that fraud, and nobody thinks voter fraud is happening. Come on.
It's not. It actually, there's an argument to be made that red state voters, women, poor white voters could be just as.
I know, you think they're dumb too, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. I hear these arguments. I've heard Democrats all week long.
No, please don't. No. Listen.
You see how surprised and dumbfounded these black people be? Like, come on, y'all been calling Trump voters uneducated for as long as I can remember. Now you trying to say, what are you trying to say? Yeah. It should hurt Republicans just like it should hurt Democrats, because you said we're the most the uneducated group in this country that votes for Republicans each and every election far exceeds what uneducated people for Democrats. I mean, that's the story y'all been putting out there. All claim black women are the most educated demographic of people in the country. Yeah. But they can't figure out to get an ID. They can't figure that out. CNN.
From talking about comes racism.
I'm actually
right there.
You should be thinking. Please don't. No. Listen.
There's a deflection from talking about comes racism.
I'm actually
right there.
You should be thinking about your constituents or your.
I think they're smart enough to figure out how to register to vote.
Hold on. Most Americans don't have a passport. Many Americans.
You don't need a passport to vote. The SAFE Act does not require you to have a passport. Yeah.
Do more research.
You're freaking. It's not going to prevent American citizens from voting. It's going to prevent illegal migrants from voting. That's what it's going to do. They are so scared that that whole voter fraud infrastructure is going to be taken down. Yeah, and they know it. These Democrats know it. CNN knows it. They know this about to be uncovered. Yeah, you look at Texas. Florida, look at the demographics of the people. Those two states are red states. Now compare them to California and New York and Illinois. Yeah. Texas and Florida have high populations of blacks, but for some reason, the same amount of people that lives in California, they're just totally blue states. I'm questioning the legitimacy of these blue states. New York, California, Illinois. Something's not adding up. Yeah.
Don't have access to their birth certificate. Many women, a majority of women who change their names for marriage have to provide additional proof that they've changed their name.
I've already debunked that whole marriage thing. That's total BS. My wife, when she got married, it's a piece of cake. When my wife got married, she got a marriage certificate. She changed her social security card. Yeah. Her driver's license, it was a piece of cake. Yeah, my wife the same. And my prior wife. And she was black. She figured it out. Where's all the stuff?
In order to register to vote.
I have heard Democrats make these same arguments.
Why don't you actually respond to the substance of what I'm saying?
I am, and the substance is this:
making this about something that it's not.
You're saying
it's not just about
voter ID.
Married women, also about
black
who has
voters,
access
and rural people are too stupid to figure out how to register to vote.
That's crazy.
That
is not what she said.
Yeah. They're so offensive. You hear what she said? They're saying? We didn't say that. That's exactly what you're saying. Yeah. You don't have to say it verbatim, but that's what you mean. Yeah. These people are too stupid to figure out how to get the IDs, the identifications, the way to get registered to vote. They're too stupid. Who can't register to vote? I mean, if you got an IQ higher than 40, you can register to vote. And that's saying something. Total frauds. Man, I hope this SAFE Act passes. Yeah, it's going to expose a lot. So, yeah. You know, some Republicans are vote.
And it's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's start with some happy news. CNN has lost nearly 2/3 of its viewers since 2016 amid growing fears the network is circling the drain. What a happy headline that is. But I can't imagine why CNN is struggling. After all, they have a token conservative now. It's Scott Jennings is on the network. Here are
Subscribe, everybody. Thank you. Good
just
morning.
yelling at him for existing.
That is not what she said. Are you saying they can't figure out how to vote? Are you saying they can't figure out how to vote?
I'm saying it is a fact.
I can't understand why that's not rating. It's hugely entertaining. Let's have an example of the balance that CNN is famous for from Abby Phillip. Let's see Abby's always consistent analysis when Ilhan Omar was sprayed with salad dressing compared to when President Trump was shot by a deranged lefty.
Ilhan Omar in particular has been the center, and you heard it there from the president, the center of a lot of awful attacks. He called her garbage. Donald Trump is actually responsible for the vitriol. So is there going to be any acknowledgement of that? Should there be? It's not about the politics of the individual. I mean, look at these people. The thing that they have in common is their complete lack of mental stability. Why is that not the conversation? Why are we in this place of who's to blame? Is it the Democrats or the Republicans? The Republicans aren't trying to assassinate the Democrats. And a lot of talk of they. And then when it's not a they, it's just a person. It's an individual.
Let's hear now from trans activist Lily Tino Contino, who has gone from being passive-aggressive to aggressive-aggressive. Fresh from being investigated by authorities for filming real women in female restrooms in Disney, Contino is claiming that if you're guilty of the crime of misgendering, then there will be a confrontation. Oh yes, the dudes are losing it.
Because if we meet and you call me by the wrong pronouns, it's going to be a confrontation. And I don't think you want that. I think you just want to go about your day. I want to go about my day. I don't want to have to be upset about getting misgendered. And I know you don't want to purposefully upset people. And if you do want to purposefully upset people, then you need to look in the mirror and ask.
That's the problem. That's a grown man telling us that we misgendering him. Because he's confused. We got to be confused with him. That's stupid.
Yourself, why? Why am I like this? Why do I want to make people's lives harder? Why don't I want to lift up my fellow human?
You see, it's not about making lives harder. It's about not submitting to bullying or indulging in the delusions of confused folk, even if those confused folk are threatening confrontation or violence. Now to Munich, where Secretary of State Marco Rubio delivered an exceptional speech, genuinely profound, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, well, she wasn't impressed.
Was a pure appeal to Western culture. My favorite part was when he said
Thanks,
that,
Bruce. I'm showing the information. They ignoring it's right in front of them. It's crazy.
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word on that.
Actually, it did originate in Spain, and AOC might also want to reflect on why Mexicans speak Spanish. How did that happen? Let's hear more from AOC. Here she talks about culture and Western civilization.
A fluid, evolving thing that is a response to the conditions that we live in. And so they want to take this mantle of culture. At the end of the day, though, is, it is very thin.
The values that underpinned Western civilization, Western culture are very thin. She's a Marxist and not a particularly bright one or an eloquent one. Listen here as AOC struggles to answer the most obvious of questions about Taiwan. This is painful.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that
what
this is this is of course a very long-standing policy of the United States, and I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point.
Oh dear, they're not sending their best, are they? But it gets worse. Also on that panel was the Democrat governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Listen to how she flounders trying to answer a question about Ukraine, and she even says that AOC is much better equipped to talk about geopolitics.
Hey, Danny.
The AOC we just heard, really? Goodness.
On Ukraine, what does victory look like?
Ambassador? No, please. I'd love to hear your answer.
It is. The two that I am on the panel with are much more steeped in foreign policy than a governor is. But I do think that Ukraine's independence, keeping their land mass, and having the support of all the allies, I think is the goal from my vantage point.
Now compare the Democrats' contribution at the Munich Security Conference to this blistering address from the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who spelled out to America's European allies that the Trump administration has no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. This is brilliant. Listen to every word.
And this is why we do not want our allies to be weak, because that makes us weaker. We want allies who can defend themselves so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength. This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able.
Okay, CJ, I see what you're saying, CJ.
And this is why we do not want allies to rationalize the broken status quo, rather than reckon with what is necessary to fix it.
Right.
For we in America have no
Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you.
polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline.
And Marco Rubio made it clear that the US alliance with Europe must be built on strength and the values of Western civilization. I'm warning you, you may need a cold shower or a cigarette after hearing this.
We do not seek to separate, but to revitalize an old friendship and renew the greatest civilization in human history. What we want is a reinvigorated alliance that recognizes that what has ailed our societies is not just a set of bad policies, but a malaise of hopelessness and complacency. The alliance that we want is one that is not paralyzed into inaction by fear of climate change, fear of war, fear of technology. Instead, we want an alliance that boldly races into the future. And the only fear we have is the fear of the shame of not leaving our nations prouder, stronger, and wealthier for our children. An alliance ready to defend our people, to safeguard our interests, and to preserve the freedom of action that allows us to shape our own destiny. Not one that exists to operate a global welfare state and atone for the purported sins of past generations.
Joining me now is Newsweek's senior editor-at-large, Josh Hammer. Josh, the Secretary of State received a standing ovation after that speech. That is something to behold from the European political class. And that speech was profound, every single word.
Rita, it's a defining speech for Marco Rubio. He has already been a historic Secretary of State.
Yeah, he nailed it. He nailed that speech.
To serve in the dual capacity as Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. He has arguably been Donald Trump's #1 foreign policy advisor when it comes to a lot of Donald Trump's louder, bolder moves on the world stage, things like the operation in Iran last June, things like the Nicolas Maduro extraction in Venezuela just about a month and a half ago there. And now he is coming to this venue deep in the heart of Europe and giving an absolute barn burner of a half-hour speech. Frankly, as someone who follows Marco Rubio pretty closely, I think back actually to a speech that he also gave in Jerusalem, a much shorter speech. He gave about a 6 to 7, maybe 10-minute speech in Jerusalem back in September to commemorate the opening of this new archaeological excavation there in the city of David. And he spoke very similarly about how the origins of Western civilization were laid here in these stones here in Jerusalem. And I kind of heard those overtones there with his reminder to the European powers, or at least the European former powers, that they have a rich heritage and a rich civilizational history. And he's basically saying, we don't want to divorce you We're actually quite happy historically with being your partners when it comes to NATO, when it comes to the mutual threat of the Soviet Union, the Cold War there. But guess what? The calendar is now 2026, and there are a lot of different threats on the world stage. There is the harrowing rise of communist China. There is the rise of Islamism there. And if Europe wants to remain relevant, they have to recover what they once were. They're not doing a very good job of that, are we there? So it's a very solemn warning to the European elites. The fact that it frankly was received with no shortage of applause, as you correctly mentioned, Rita, shows that perhaps there is more of an appetite than some of us give them credit for actually listening to this message. The proof ultimately, of course, will be in the pudding on that.
It will. I think it's a very fractured Europe right now. You've got countries that have heard that warning, that have turned to the centre right, from Italy to Finland, and you've got other countries that are just further doubling down on that leftist mentality, that neo-Marxist ideology. Now, I want to play you Marco Rubio here, warning Western allies about outsourcing their power to systems
Right, he went off on
their
this
control.
one.
This sounds like a rejection of globalization.
An alliance that does not allow its power to be outsourced, constrained, or subordinated to systems beyond its control. One that does not depend on others for the critical necessities of its national life. And one that does not maintain the polite pretense that our way of life is just one among many, and that asks for permission before it acts.
Josh, he rejected the notion there that all cultures are equal, something that AOC was very aggrieved about when she spoke later.
Right. And it is true. Not all culture is equal. You got people from overseas come over to America and don't respect no constitutional us as Americans at all. They are corrupt. Some of these people are corrupt. Not all of them. But the ones that came over here, heard our kids, heard our women, they sending money overseas. They're not trying to help build America and make it much better. They're making it worse. It's crazy.
He unequivocally stated in that speech the value of Western civilization. You either protect it and advance it, or you destroy it from within, Josh.
Look, Rita, Marco Rubio is a nationalist. He is not a globalist. He is not a transnationalist. He is an American nationalist. His views when it comes to all sorts of issues have taken a markedly national direction. They've been really trending that way for many, many years now. I actually remember back in 2019, again, I follow Marco Rubio pretty closely, especially as a Floridian by choice.
Thank you, guys. Let's grow together, everybody. Let's grow together. Thank you.
I believe was in 2019, articulating his theory of economics, which
I'll go live Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, and if I can, Saturday evening, and also Monday. Thank you, guys. Let's continue.
She referred to as common good capitalism, which is kind of a more nationalist, less laissez-faire, absolutist approach to economics there. That calls for reshoring supply chains, things like trying to produce more manufacturing at home. Basically a rejection back then in economics when it comes to the siren song of globalism there. Globalism certainly has had its benefits when it comes to economics, lower prices, free trade, et cetera there. But the point that Rubio is making correctly is that it's come at a pretty steep cost as well. And now here in Munich, he's doing a very similar thing when it comes not just to economics, but also when it comes to culture. He is correctly saying that not all cultures are equal. In fact, some cultures, I would argue, I think probably Rubio would too, are objectively better than others in pretty much every demonstrable, empirical way possible when it comes to standards of living, when it comes to GDP, when it comes to material wealth, when it comes to subjective indications of personal happiness there. And you know, this is the modern Republican Party, Rita. This is the Republican Party of the 2020s. It's not George W. Bush's Republican Party. Back in his second inaugural address in January 2005, Bush famously spoke of the freedom agenda and how it was America's role to forcibly export its idiosyncratic version of Western liberalism to all places of the world there. He basically said that the Taliban just wants this Jeffersonian Lockean liberalism. And here's Marco Rubio 20 years later basically saying, actually, no. That's not the case. There are some cultures that don't want what we want there. And ultimately, it's up to America to protect her interests and then to ally with like-minded countries to better secure and protect their own regions there. That's in theory where Europe comes in. Again, the relevant part here is in theory.
very similar tones to J.D. Vance's speech in Europe last year, and that was seen as groundbreaking by many. Now, talking about destroying the West from within, I want to play you a clip of former President Barack Obama claiming here that it's Republicans and generally those on the right who push angry, divisive, us-them politics.
The other side does the mean, angry,
demagoguery,
exclusive, us-them, divisive politics. That's their home court.
Yeah.
Our court is coming together.
Oh, wow. Josh, what's your response to that wild projection from the former president?
Doesn't this guy have better things to do with his time? I mean, that's actually literally my first take. We all saw Hillary Clinton there speaking at the Munich Security Conference. And, whether it's her or Barack Obama, don't these old Democrats, do they have nothing better to do with their time? Does Hillary Clinton not prefer to go shill for the Qatar-sponsored Clinton Foundation? Does Barack Obama not prefer to go shill with Michelle Obama on their multi-million-dollar Netflix package? Why do this, first of all?
Right.
Historically speaking, it was the job of former presidents to fade into obscurity. And it's very notable that Barack Hussein Obama was the first president to not leave Washington, D.C. I cannot emphasize this point enough, Rita. There was a long tradition going back a century and a half, a very, very long time in America, where you would physically move out because that was a symbol that you were going to remove yourself.
Good morning, Human. Thanks for joining in.
George W. Bush, for instance, he had many flaws as a president, but to his great credit, he went totally out of the picture there. He went back to Dallas, Texas. He focused on painting. He was taking art classes. Can't Barack Obama just take art classes? He's just such a narcissist. He just can't avoid the public image. So that's my very first takeaway. I think the second takeaway is, dude, what are you smoking? This is the guy who famously, on the precipice of being elected president in 2008, said that he was out there and that he was going to stick it to the bitter clingers who were bitterly clinging to their guns and their religion. Just days before he was elected over John McCain, he said that we are days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. And it should be self-evident that one does not seek to fundamentally transform that which he loves. And frankly, most Americans love their country. So you want to talk about divisive? Well, that was pretty divisive. His whole presidency was divisive, actually. The Obamacare statute, the Iran nuclear deal, the this, the that there. When he famously stood over Paul Ryan, Eric Cantor, and said, hey, guys, I won, you lost, as his justification for passing Obamacare. So he's the last person in the world who should talk about this there. The chutzpah, frankly, is through the roof. But again, as I said, this is the guy who famously refused to move out of D.C. because he just thinks that he is that much brighter and more special than everyone else. Guess what? He's not.
Well, maybe he didn't move out of D.C. because he had that infamous third term under the Biden years. There was some conjecture about really who was calling the shots, because we know it wasn't Joe Biden. He was not cognitively sound throughout much of that presidency.
Sure wasn't.
Now, I mentioned earlier in Lefty's Losing It that CNN has lost nearly 2/3 of its viewership since 2016, just an incredible decline. And when compared to the same part of the year in 2021, the drops were even more pronounced, Josh. 71% for prime time and 73% during the day. This is according to the latest Nielsen ratings.
Sky News is a joke.
How can they reverse this,
No, really not. Sky News on point.
For reversing it, because they have become an activist network.
They from the outside looking in. Not bad.
Breaking news don't seem to be a huge consideration.
Rita, frankly, I don't know that they actually want to turn this around. I genuinely am not, because frankly, viewers have been fleeing the network for years and years and years, and they've done virtually nothing to try to change course. There are precisely two people on CNN who are worth watching. One is my Salem colleague, Scott Jennings, who is absolutely amazing and owns the libs there on a seemingly day-in, day-out basis. The other is Harry Enton, who I've known since we were 18 years old. Harry and I go way back, who is just a very funny, well-spoken, purely objective, nerdy polls guy. He's no ideology, no policy, no nothing, just pure entertainment cutting down the polls. So the only two people that have any kind of core viewership these days are, one, the token conservative, two, the totally non-ideological and nerdy polls guy there. As for all the other jokers there, Jake Tapper, Wolf Blitzer, Caitlin Collins, my God, there. I mean, who was watching these people? I mean, who was the person who was getting up in the morning and saying, "Oh my God, I cannot wait to see what Caitlin Collins or Erin Burnett says on CNN today." I mean, that demographic, to the extent that ever existed, simply does not exist anymore. And it's actually not just a cable news thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, people are fleeing cable news in general." Not true, actually. Fox News currently is putting up the greatest numbers in the history of American cable news. So people are definitely not fleeing Fox News. They're fleeing CNN faster than you could say Wolf Blitzer, though, because they've been offering the same barely warmed over pablum for years and years and years. And, there's some rumors as to whether or not the owners might seek to divest CNN there. But either way, this is not going to have a happy ending if they continue on their current route.
Well, their digital traffic, as a lot of people point to online viewership, because that's growing at a rapid pace. But again, CNN seems to be struggling there against competitors. So it's the product, it's the content that people are rejecting. Josh Hammer, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Rita.
Amazing.
Democrats don't seem to understand where the rest of the country is. They don't seem to understand that Americans don't want this craziness, that the party's gotten, frankly, way too darn liberal. When a man's a woman and a woman's a man and this thing, it's just getting a little crazy. I used to think I was actually pretty moderate. Apparently, I'm like some kind of right-wing nut. I'm like, fine, I guess, bring it on. I believe in good, strong security, a good, strong economy, low taxes, give more to the people so that, they have the ability to spend it. I am a fiscal conservative, all these things. And apparently I'm a right-wing nut because I'm more and more conservative. But the reality is the Democrat Party has gotten more and more liberal and more crazy. And you know what? Americans are sick of it. Just look at this CNN survey that was done. Watch.
Democratic base, right? But what about all Americans, right? How about all voters? Voters who say the Democrats are now too liberal. Look at this percentage. It was 42% in 96, 48% in 2013, now 58% in 2025 of all voters say that the Democratic Party is too liberal. The Democrats are moving to the left, the far left is gaining power, and there could be some electoral repercussions because what we see right now is voters, the clear majority, say that they are too liberal.
This is really interesting. Thanks so much, Harry.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
She said, this is really interesting. I think we appreciate this. Listen, I think that the party has just gotten nuttier and nuttier and nuttier, and they don't recognize it. They don't appreciate it. They don't understand it. They don't realize what they are doing, in fact, to themselves. You know how I know that? I want to take a look at a soundbite that caught my eye. Here is a reporter
Subscribe.
Lindell's network speaking to a Democrat representative here yesterday on Capitol Hill, telling her about this study, and the woman doesn't believe it. Watch.
The SAVE Act is an attack on civil rights and is racist. Could you just explain that further? Because 76% of Black Americans support the SAVE Act, according to CNN.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, we find it racist because at the end of the day, it's targeting Black communities with a cost burden. We've been through this historically, right? Where we've been prohibited from voting because we didn't know how many bubbles were in a soap bar.
That was like in the 60s or even earlier than that. What the hell? It's 2026, y'all.
And so this is just a new iteration of that, and we're very focused on defeating it.
But if 76% of Black Americans support voter ID,
I don't believe that 76%.
You don't want to believe. That's the problem.
That's possible.
Okay.
But I do not agree with it.
You don't believe it. See, that's what, again, when I talk about a disconnect, they don't believe.
Right, subscribe.
I mean, Chucky Schumer, even CNN and MSNBC were all over him saying, wait a second, the study shows that all Americans want things like voter ID. Black Americans want voter IDs. So why would you guys be against it? Because their party has gotten so left and so crazy. They're not listening to people anymore. And so this doesn't surprise me when you see this sort of disconnect. And that's why Americans are saying that the party's getting too
I got my ID.
And
driver
what are
license.
they left with? A bunch of paid
I know y'all got
protesters?
y'all's.
The State Department coming out yesterday and naming specific groups, including a group out of China that's supported by the CCP. Neville Roy Singman being named as one of the problems, as well as other groups, because they're getting this foreign money and they're infiltrating these communities and trying to create these.
Good morning, last of his kind. Last of his kind. Good morning.
The appearance of a really psyched up protest group, and yet how much of that is really real? And how much of that is staged? Because I think that the Democrat Party has basically lost sight of what it is, what it stands for. You have only to look at the union vote, right?
Thank you.
To figure that one out. When you see the success of how the union did.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Good morning. Like and subscribe.
Harris
Let's grow
not
together.
getting any
Let's grow
support.
together.
Well, that was like a mainstay, was it not, for the Democrat Party? So I think
Let's
this
grow,
is their
let's
future,
grow.
which is good, for the rest of us. But they're not gonna stand a chance. Ultimately, if this is the way they're going to continue going, and by all means, this is what we see from the likes of AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Mamdani. I mean, that one's a real train wreck, right? Anyway, it's good to have you here. Please make sure, if you have not subscribed, do that for me. I'm looking at your comments in real time. We got tons of likes. Thank you. If you're just joining us after the show, please make a comment. I'm laughing at Flint Robinson. He says, yeah, I guess I'm a right-wing nut too. I guess we're all right-wing nuts, right? But it doesn't take much to be one, because if you're
Right for having common sense and want common
differently
sense.
than they do. If
You
you
want
actually
common
think,
sense.
a man is a man, a woman's a woman. I feel like I'm Archie Bunker here, right? This is nuts, but it's where we are right now. And I
Right.
guess more power to us. More power to us.
Thank
because
you,
we'll
thank
continue
you.
Winning
Let's
elections.
grow, let's grow.
Richard, thank you very
Name's
much for your
Deunta.
generosity. Much appreciated. Democrats are communistic. Yes, communistic indeed. The groceries, Clive Jenkins talking about the groceries, right? They're coming down regardless of what the lunatics say. I thought you were going to say something about the grocery store in Mamdani, because apparently that one's not working out well. His free grocery store in New York City, all his free stuff, someone's going to pay for it. The adults in the room have to pay for it. And you're going to destroy the economy. It's been done before. I have only to look at Venezuela, where 25 years ago, it enjoyed the highest standard of living in all of Latin America. Today, look at it. I mean, they got a lot of rehabilitation efforts to get underway there in Venezuela, but we cannot be that, all right? So we got to stamp all this nut stuff out, and fast. We need sort of this rise of normalcy once again. And I think it's happening. I really do. Thank you for being here. We're going to be back live on the show again on Monday. You guys are wonderful. I hope you have a terrific Valentine's Day. Happy You've had Christy Noem getting replaced by Tom Homan, and Tom Homan now, Tom coming out, setting the record straight, as he should, on the good
Well, I
things
stand with
that ICE
ICE.
has been able
They ain't
to
doing
do,
their
even in
best
the
job,
face
but
of
they
all
doing
these
their
protests.
job. If Kamala had did her job, Tom Homan had to come back from Obama, who had him the first time, and gave him an award. And everybody tripping with Tom Homan doing his job. He did his job with Obama. No complaints. That's crazy.
Etc. This is really important. They accomplished a lot, even just getting a lot of kids back to their rightful parents or families or tracked down, period, because you think about all the missing people in this country, including
Yeah, it's crazy,
these kids that
man.
come over the border. I want to go to Homan on this as he set the record straight.
In addition to taking public safety threats off
Tom.
the street, ICE here in this state have located 3,364 missing unaccompanied alien children. Children that the last administration lost.
Protect our children, our women. Subscribe.
That's because the leadership of President Trump, these children were located.
Which was important and good. And, to sit there and say that somehow these kids didn't deserve to find their right homes. I mean, that's pretty messed up. You have kids that were lost in this country, and you have ICE doing what it needs to do. I mean, we were in a situation where you couldn't get any cooperation, right? Let's be very, very clear, from local law enforcement, because they had been instructed not to do so. But we're now in an environment where I think a lot of people are coming to the realization that, hey, ICE is trying to do some good stuff. And this is what Tom was explaining today. Let's go back to him for a moment.
Something about the various unfounded complaints I'm hearing about ICE enforcement operations. During the surge operation, ICE has not arrested anybody inside a hospital. We have not arrested anybody inside of a school, an elementary school.
If ICE agents want to get any American, it won't be that hard, because these dumb Democrats and liberals are going straight to the crime scene and obstructing them. If they want to go and get arrested or kidnapped, they right there. There'd be hundreds of protesters right there. They could snatch them up right there if they wanted to. Why wait to go to their house to get them, and the protesters right there? Get them right there. So stop the BS. Stop the gaslighting, y'all. Let the ICE agents do their job. Stop watching CNN and The View. They sealing y'all off. 56 people died under Obama when it came to this ICE situation. No complaints about that, huh? The Porter-in-Chief.
We have not arrested anybody inside a church. As a matter of fact, the only ones that disrespected the sanctuary of a church were the agitators that have been arrested and prosecuted. So far, we have 9 of them. However, those locations are not off the table. I said from day one, there is no sanctuary for a significant public safety threat or national security threat. But as far as those stories about ICE going into churches, arresting people in hospitals, is simply a...
So ICE didn't do those things. I mean, we had other groups going into churches. Don Lemon's group going into churches. That wasn't ICE. But he also said something important. He said, look, we're not taking that off the table. If it comes to it, if we have to go in, we will. But the idea is you ought to be able to get the bad guys out. Like, this should not be a partisan thing. Again, he reiterated this, and I want to go back to Holman.
Partisan issue that you arrest public safety threats in the safety and security of a jail. Releasing public safety threats back in the public is just stupid. And I've been arguing this for years. And I hope Congress takes action on sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. It makes sense. If you think about it, even the argument I hear, well, victims and witnesses of crime that are in the
ICE is helping me. I feel much safer knowing ICE out there getting the immigrants up out of here that came here illegally. Come the right way. You can stay.
That's a bunch of crap. Because victims and witnesses of crime don't want the bad guy released in the neighborhood either. It's ridiculous. We want access to the person that you chose, the local jurisdiction chose, to lock in a jail cell. And we have that cooperation here now. It's the right thing to do, and it makes this community safer. This community is safer because we arrested 4,000 illegal aliens, and there's over 4,000 illegal aliens here. Many of them public safety threat. Not all of them.
Not CM, why you on my chat then? If it's stupid, get off the chat. If not, subscribe and enjoy.
And the men and women standing on the stage.
He's so good at this, right? I mean, he's really kind of the voice of calm in this environment and the voice of reason. But let's not forget that when you don't cooperate with ICE, you're actually putting people in harm's way. Ron Johnson pointed on this earlier today.
I freely admit being in favor of the First Amendment.
And 2 people are dead because you encourage them to put themselves in harm's way.
Listen up. In the chat, just listen. The ones that are going against what's going on. Listen what the man's saying. Just listen.
And now you're exploiting those 2 martyrs. A tragedy was going to happen, and you encouraged it. And you ought to feel damn guilty about it. Smirk. It's sick. It is despicable.
Are you asking me for comment, Senator? Because everything you said was untrue. It was a nice theatrical performance, but it was all lies.
So again, I'm just saying, like, we need to actually, I think, be very fair and honest with each other. And back in the day, let's be clear, the Democrats very much wanted strong borders. Now, let's just say, let's go with theoretically, okay, they want all these people coming in because they figure it's votes, and more votes. Fine, but don't you still, at some point, isn't there any part of you that wants to keep your citizen base safe? I really question this.
Right.
Because if you're willing to import all of these people in, have no idea.
Subscribe, everybody.
Yes, you're putting massive economic drain on various communities,
Subscribe.
But apparently you think you can just solve that with the stroke of a pen and just more money from Uncle Sam to go to who knows what. I mean, you think about New York, right? In the hotels where you got daily maid service, not bad, right? Daily maid service and those little cards for your special food because they had to have ethnically appropriate food. Wow. And a cell phone. I mean, hey, come on. You gotta, and they want free healthcare in California. We're not going to pay for it. Everybody else shouldn't have to pay for all the illegals that they're importing into California that they're going to offer free health care for, because you know what they want to do? They want to get more electoral college votes and they want to get more representatives in Congress. So that's what that's all about. But think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing to your society and the endangerment that you're putting your society in. It just doesn't even make any kind of logical sense. And then when you do things like we've seen them there, where they have all this money funding this, right? Because of course China wants all this going on. And of course China wants to see us coming apart at the seams, attacking each other. They want these ICE issues to be bubbling up. And they saw ground zero there in Minneapolis. You got to say to yourself, what is the right thing for our country in the here and now? And it's not that. It's definitely not that. Anyway, it is good to have all of you guys here. Forgive the camera issues. We're on the road, so it's a little trickier than normal. But I wanted to at least touch base with you. And we'll be here on the show again tomorrow because these are some important considerations, I think, at this moment in time. The other thing I do want to give a quick shout out for our friends over at Balance in Asia.
You said I should go to the border and not go out to the city. Oh, my God. Did you realize that Obama? Did you know that Joe Biden brought the immigrants in doing a red line on the plane overnight? He helped bring them in.
Even existing customers can get that 50% off. I think it's $79.95 or $75.99 for
they bust into the city
for the whole health system for life. You get something like 37 different fruits and vegetables. I don't have the exact number right in front of me, so it might be 41 and 37. It's an enormous amount, right? Just enormous. I'm like, I couldn't possibly cook all that or eat all that in any given day. So, and it's great. You can just sprinkle it onto your food. It's wonderful. I'm actually traveling with it. I keep it with me. My Balance of Nature. I take the fruits and veggies, but the whole health system is really a terrific deal right now. So for those of you that are still thinking about new year, new you, that kind of stuff, hey, we can, right? It's only February. Do you know I didn't take my Christmas decorations down until like this is embarrassing, right? Until like last week, really. I like them. They adorn the staircase and everything, and I wish I could keep them up year round. I got to get them up on like November 1st. I'm going to be one of those people. My husband's like, you can't put your Christmas decorations up before Thanksgiving. It's like sacrilegious to do it. And I'm like, no, honey, you don't know. Like I'm Christmas all year round. I like it. Why not? Anyway, we'll make sure that the tree in the studio goes up November 1st. You guys were laughing at me because it was like into January and I still had the studio tree up. I finally took that one down, but I left them in the house because I kind of liked them. Anyway, it is so good to see you all. If you
stay their ass at home, they won't die.
Please make sure that you keep checking back on the channel. I will be here live again tomorrow with you. Appreciate all your support and everything you do. I'll see you then.
ABL Live on Valentine's Day, it makes sense. Here's my thing. If I say, which I do say, that racism is wrong, then it's always wrong. It doesn't matter who it's against. It could be against somebody on the left or somebody on the right. It doesn't make a difference who it's against. Now, we got to kind of define what racism is. If I make a joke, and we're going to see some jokes in a minute, but if I make a joke
and it's kind of lighthearted. It's not meant to be offensive. That's one thing. But if you call somebody the N-word 5,000 times in their face because you're upset that they're being arrested, I mean, what do you call that? Is that a joke? Is that a ha-ha moment? Or is that them just being a bad person, which is why they're being arrested? You see? But on the left, that whole interaction right there, them being arrested by the ICE agent, and they say N-word, N-word, N-word over and over, that's okay. It's totally fine. So at a certain point, we know that these things aren't about race. It never was really about race, not since I've been living. It's really just about your political ideology. Hey, you don't fit into what we want. You don't fit into our ideology politically. You don't fit into what we believe and what we think. Then we're going to ostracize you. We're going to attack you. Racial slurs, whatever, we're going to throw it at you. We're going to call the police on you, tell lies on you, get on TV, tell lies on you. That's what they do. But I think we've all come to expect it. So whenever
this ABL, he be coming with it too, you know what I'm saying?
Bad conservatives are, I'm like,
good guy.
You guys are ridiculous over there on the left. You guys are the bad ones. We are the ones that got a brain. Okay, we're the ones that got a brain. We're the ones that got it together. And those on the left, not all, but a lot,
right.
Not really
some of them don't.
Too tight.
Subscribe, everybody. Thank you.
I would hate to be on the other side right now. You know, sucks to be y'all on the other side. I would wish that you listen to what I say and listen to what we say to come to our side. But I know that's going to be a tall task. One of the questions on the podcast I was on recently, and shout out to my man from the Earn Your 24 podcast. And again, that link will be on the community tab. And it's also, I got short clips from it in the shorts playlist. But one of the things I was telling them, hey, my whole train of thought went out the window. Because, I tried to weave, right? But my weave, normally, I started in my mind. When I'm about to do a weave, and you don't know what the weave is, you're speaking about one topic, and then you kind of divert a little bit off the path. You're going straight ahead, right? A straight line, and then you decide, you know what? I'm going to just deviate a little bit. And you go deeper and deeper until you just can't even see the road anymore. But I got to make a landmark in my mind. Okay, I was right here, boom, and then now I'm here. But I did not do that, so that's why I was trying to fight. But anyway.
Hey, Fort Lodge, it's okay. You got to subscribe. Thanks for being in the chat.
The time.
My hat should not make you or judge.
I think I'm going to do a lot more here like that with other people, because the people, that's like right down the way, right there in Atlanta. So I'll probably go down there some more. And since I'm talking about the podcast, shout out to the guy who had the actual studio. It was fantastic. Very good. The accommodations, bathroom and everything, beautiful. Look, in the studio, it was like part of their house, I guess, like on the basement or something. It was beautiful. I say, hey man, can I go to the bathroom? Go to the bathroom. You got beautiful.
Welcome back.
It was almost a clawfoot tub, but it didn't have the claw feet, if you understand what I'm saying. Like it was a tub, like a raised tub, just kind of out. Like a clawfoot tub would be with no claw feet on it, but just like you know what I'm talking about. Oval shaped tub, just out, beautiful. Floors, beautiful. Everything in there was just great. It was fantastic. Really professional, good quality. Overall, 10 out of 10. I will be back there with maybe my own podcast. That's what I want to do in the future. But anyway, check that out on the shorts tab and also the community tab for sure. Stay on the path. Hey, man, I try to stay on the path, but sometimes I get diverted. I really do. But I'll give you guys more long-form stuff, too. But I feel like the long-form videos, I'm going to just be all the way real. The long-form video, people are watching less of the long-form stuff, and they want the short-form stuff. And I saw Elon Musk say that short-form videos are killing us because of our attention spans, and we're just getting hooked.
I just said that.
Fix. Dopamine hit.
I said about 30 minutes ago.
Casino. But in my video, I tried to give you, like, some educational value in a short form. I see some short form content where it's just them. It could be just like TikTok stuff is completely brainless. It'd be 6 seconds of nonsense. I saw somebody post something. I'm like, what brain cells to rub together? But again, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And I know since we talked about the moon and gravity and all that kind of stuff, I know without even glancing over here, okay, without even glancing over here at the comments, I know there's going to be somebody that says, the firmament ain't no outer space. You got it, bro. The earth is flat. Okay, cool. Don't worry. It's okay. It's totally fine. Whatever you want to believe, I'm not squabbling with you. That's a prime example right there. A flat earther, I would never. Talking about some, hey, ABL, I want to debate you about the flat earth. I ain't debating that. Why are we debating about that?
That's what's up. That's what I'm trying to do.
Is in fact,
that's what's up. I'm glad you subscribed to his channel. Not a problem. That's what's up. He's a good man. Check him out, man. He got some good information. He be on it.
It is or not. I'm not having that debate. If you want to talk about that with the next 10-4 hat guy, knock yourself out. It could be the battle of the basements. From your basement and from his basement, you can have a live stream together arguing about the flat earth, the moon made of cheese, things of this nature. I'm not going to have that discussion. But anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, you know what to do.
Believe me, you didn't want to eat that food. I had to line up for hours. It was a line for blocks and blocks for a grocery store. And that's my fear.
I'm always open to new ideas. We need a change in discussion.
I'll tell you, I prefer the status quo.
Yeah, I voted for Obama one time. Wish I didn't.
Corruption. Wait, why do you think the grocery store sells you food? For charity or for money?
For money.
That's not a bad thing. I think we need more free markets, not less.
What we need here, rent control. Stop raising the rent every year.
We need more apartment units available. That means we need to let
Thank you.
New York City
Let's grow. Let's grow. Thank you, guys.
And Austin, Texas, a city that is 1/8 of the size of New York.
We need a change.
But then the change that we need is one that increases the supply of housing, right? Not that one that will decrease it, like Mamdani.
It doesn't work out. The same people who voted for him before them out of office.
All right, there we go. So, what do y'all think? What I think is the Mamdani experiment. We get to that later. The Mamdani experiment is not going to last too long. It's not, because they're going to see things not going right in the city, and it's going to be pretty quick. Like a place like New York City, it's not, you're talking about like what, 20 million people in the area, like 8 in the city proper, 8 million in the city proper.
No,
That's a lot
didn't.
of people to be responsible for as a mayor. So if and when he does not do things properly, there's going to be a swift reaction, a swift and pronounced reaction to what he's doing. The policies that he's trying to promote, free this, free that, the communism, socialism, it never works. And in New York, it's going to go very quickly. They're going to realize quick that it's not going to work. With the trash, it's already kind of an issue, but they'll see for sure beyond the trash.
But Trump was a Democrat too, but he just switched parties.
Now let's go to Tarjay. Have you guys been to Tarjay, aka Target, recently? Now, this is their Black History Month area. I don't know where this is, what part of the country this is in, but let's check it out.
All right. Black History Month at Target. Pretty brown teen.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
That's how we talk. I said what I said. Nothing like a sassy black woman to start the morning off.
Yep. He did. If he voted for Kamala or Tampon Tim, it would have been a disaster.
Picks and combs. Cool. Bill Cosby's sweater. All right. Oh, shit. Roots. The bag. All right.
Hey, so
amazing.
Do you guys, hold on. Do you guys
subscribe
handbag? Or let me know, because hey, if one of y'all ladies in there wants the Roots bag, hey, I don't mind. I go out there and get it for you. It'd be a nice little gift. Happy Black History Month, birthday, Valentine's Day, anniversary. Boom, get that Roots bag. Okay, and then one of y'all gonna get that. I said what I said. The Nene Leach. One of y'all gonna get that. And the Pretty Brown thing. Hey, that's going to be a top seller. I need that. I need that to give to one of the young ladies. Okay, so hey, try it. You know, Tarjay, listen, Tarjay.
Tiger always playing around.
Jokes, but I appreciate.
Right, they had a tuck friendly for the boys. Tuck friendly, really? Tiger be tripping. I don't know.
The effort. I appreciate the diversity, because this could be. Hey, you know what? I'd much rather have the Pretty Brown Ting T-shirt rather than the LGBTQ elemental P X, Y, and Z clothing for minors. I'd much rather that. So this is definitely an upgrade.
See, from what? Communism.
All right. Say y'all don't want it, Debbie. It's
nothing is free out here.
It's all good. Now
somebody gotta pay for something.
Black history, et cetera, et cetera. Here's a joke from a comedian, Hans Kim, about Black Americans not being deported from ICE. And then there's a response to his joke, and the guy's not very amused. Okay, let's watch this first. All right, and let's check it out.
My only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except Black people. I mean, you're trying to reduce crime. You're just giving them more room to breathe. But I understand. Can you imagine the shape you have to be in to deport Black people?
There we go. There's a joke. That's pretty much a joke right there. You know, talking about, you know, the crime. Hey, man, you're not going after the main people. And then you want to catch one of us, what you going to do? Hey, even right now, at 41 years old, I can dust most people in the foot race. Right now, my knee might not be the same ever again after I race you, but I can still do it. Hey, that knee is not kneeing the way it used to. The ankle is kind of janky. Since I was young, it's been kind of janky. So, hey, but I'm going to still probably outrun you. You better be in shape to catch up with me, for sure. Now, somebody did not like that joke very well, okay?
Asian.
Now, first of all, can I tell a joke? Can I tell a joke? Is that not the same guy? I'm just saying. Is that not the exact same guy we just saw? Because if it's not, I can't tell. Now, he's offended though. Okay, the evil twin is offended. Let's watch.
Asian American, the only valid reaction you should have to that video is disgust and, frankly, embarrassment. And now, when Asian communities are under attack, the fact that we're still throwing the Black community under the bus shows how desperate some of us are to cling to this proximity to whiteness as our saving grace, as if that is going to keep us safe and protect our families when it never has before. A lot of us talk about how Asian discrimination and racism is downplayed, but it shouldn't come as a surprise when so many of us are so quick to disavow any solidarity with other communities of color. If you are part of an immigrant family, I know you know how rampant anti-Blackness is in our world, and to see it perpetuated in the name of humor and an unfunny joke is embarrassing. Asian American.
All right, there's a lot of to say here.
Subscribe.
First of all, I don't like the term communities of color because you're just trying to lump everybody in the same boat, and we're not in the same boat. Furthermore, what color are you? If you're going to be all the way real, you are white the same as a European, skin color wise. You have different. You got eyes and your nose. That's different. Your face is different, but your skin is the same. Am I not seeing? And it's the same thing with like sub-Saharan Black folks and like South Indians. We got a very similar, if not the exact same skin tone, but we got different features on our face. But anyway, I don't like the whole communities of color moniker. And beyond that, the joke wasn't really. I mean, like it's a joke. It's okay. It wasn't really that bad. And beyond that, we're talking about being persecuted as a people. The Asians right now, I mean, y'all not the target. And if you are, then anybody really complaining. Anybody complaining. I've seen some of the Asians get rounded up by ICE. And these are people that are here illegally and they're criminals. Nobody complains. It's not really a big deal. The target is not Asians or Hispanics or Blacks. The target is whoever is here illegally. So if you got a Black guy, an African or whatever, Caribbean here illegally, well, hey, I don't know what to tell you. You're Hispanic, Mexican, Guatemalan, whatever.
Appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
You're from
I'm learning with you guys.
Vietnam, China,
Thank you.
Korea, South Korea. You got to go back. Simple as that. So yeah, shout out to my man. Hey, you know what? I appreciate your concern. I appreciate you being offended for me, but I'm good, bro. It's okay.
I'm gonna play ABL right in a minute. I'm gonna go to my man Vince Everson, if I'm saying his name right. I think you guys like this one.
Ever since the Civil War, man, the more things change, the more they between Andrew Jackson and John C. Calhoun. Democrats have always believed that lawlessness and rioting and fighting, they've used these terror tactics to fight the federal government when it comes down to enforcing federal law or enforcing a federal court order.
Democrats.
It is amazing to watch. The Civil War was an extreme example of it. Democrats lost an election. Very simply, they just lost an election. Abraham Lincoln won. Stephen Douglas lost. St. James A. Breckinridge lost. They split the Democratic ticket. There it was. Lincoln became president. Federal law said we all supposed to say, okay, we lost. Let's acquiesce to the new government in Washington, D.C., and we'll try to win the next one. Oh, not the Democrats. We're going to succeed from the Union. And when Abraham Lincoln said, there is nothing in the Constitution that gives you the right to succeed from the Union. They said, well, we believe that we do. And Lincoln said, I don't believe that you do. It's just theory. They said, well, if you try to make us stay in, we're going to fight you. Lincoln said there are federal facilities down south. There are banks. There are forts.
Okay, Mike.
You guys are supposed to pay a certain amount of taxes to the government every year based upon the Constitution. These things are still enforceable. They said we're not going to do it. And if you try to come and make us do it, it's on. So Lincoln did what? He said, well, there's a fort down in South Carolina called Fort Sumter. It needs to be resupplied. He sent a ship down there to resupply Fort Sumter, and the Democrats fired on it. Again, fighting the federal government. And that's how the Civil War started. The firing on Fort Sumter. Y'all, they're doing the same thing up in Minneapolis right now. Federal law is very simple. If you came here to the country illegally, you're to be deported. You're to be arrested, brought before a judge gives a deportation order, you're out. Many of these people already have deportation orders because they came in, they were told by the judge, you need to show up for this hearing. They don't show up, the judge puts out a deportation order. Or they were caught here illegally. The judge puts out an order for them to be deported. They allow them to be out on their own reconnaissance while the judge is making this decision, and they never come back. They find them and send them out.
Amazing. Thank you.
Up in Minneapolis, they said, no, we're not going to do that. They're not only saying that we're not going to assist you in carrying out federal law, we're going to block it. Now, what other times has this happened in history, y'all, with the Democratic Party? Civil rights movement. Ku Klux Klan was bad about it. Court would order that the school is supposed to be segregated and be supposed to be integrated. Ku Klux Klan would burn the dadgum school down, fighting, turning over buses. It was a Little Rock 9. Federal judge ordered that the school was supposed to be integrated. These 9 little black children supposed to go to the school in Little Rock, Arkansas. Oh, boy, they got it on film. They just raising out. How the hell that's it?
This is Central High School, Little Rock, Arkansas. Troops, which for nearly 3 weeks lined the sidewalk here in front of the high school under orders to keep the colored students out, have been replaced now from their orders to comply with the law, which means let the Negro students in if they come in.
They were Thelma Mothershed, Minnie Jean Brown, Jefferson Thomas, Terrence Roberts, Carlotta Walls, Gloria Ray, Ernest Green, Elizabeth Eckford, and Melba Patillo, known collectively as the Little Rock 9. The 1954 Supreme Court ruling on Brown versus Board
Subscribe, everybody.
found segregation of schools unconstitutional. But as the Little Rock 9 approached their newly integrated high school in Little Rock, segregationists stormed the campus in protest.
You got no business out here. This is our school, not theirs. They are their own.
As the violence escalated, Elizabeth Eckford was heckled by an angry mob who yelled, "Lynch her," as she walked calmly toward the entrance to the school. President Dwight D. Eisenhower soon intervened, setting a precedent for the nation as a whole.
Extreme situation has been created in Little Rock. This challenge must be met, and with such measures as will preserve to the people as a whole their lawfully protected rights in a climate permitting their free and fair exercise.
On September 25th, 1957, the 101st Airborne Division and 10,000 National Guard troops escorted the Little Rock Nine as they walked bravely past screaming mobs of segregationist haters, boldly making their way into the classrooms of Little Rock Central High School.
Dwight D. Eisenhower, the president, had to send in the 101st Airborne to enforce federal law. Yeah, Orville Favors was the Democratic governor that would not allow the law to be enforced. He's just like the Tap-on Tim. Federal government can't tell us what to do. Y'all go out there and y'all resist. Yes, Democrats did it then, they're doing it now. Just like then, they're doing it now. They got a governor that's telling the people to resist federal law. Back then, it was the integration of public education, allowing black children to go to a school. And this one,
listen to the message, Dave. Listen to the message.
Alien force that is robbing the American people of money, of space, breaking the law, taking jobs, driving down wages, all of it, bringing in diseases, selling dope on the street. But the Democrats need them for one reason. This is their constituency. The people give them elected, and they're the people that give them money because these people defraud the government and give Democrats kickbacks. And they said, no, we got to keep them. It's just like them keeping their slaves. They said, we believe that Abraham Lincoln's going to take our slaves away.
Amazing.
So we got to fight. They're saying, we believe that the federal government and Donald Trump is going to take our slaves away, our new N-words, and we got to fight. There's a little black girl by the name of Miss Bridges, little girl by the name of Ruby Bridges. I think she was 6, 7 years old. She's very young. Court order that she could go to this school in New Orleans. All the Democrats pulled their white children out.
Yeah.
And she had to have federal marshals escort her into that school. And she had to sit in that school a whole year by herself. Messed her mind up. That child didn't do anything wrong. It was the stupid parents that did it. I would have never put my child through such an ordeal. But it was also those low-down, dirty Democrats who treated a child that way. And rioted and screamed and yelled, just like they're doing up in Minneapolis right now, to try to thwart the enforcement of federal law and a federal court order. They did it at Ole Miss. 1961, I think it was, when the federal court said that James Meredith could go in the Ole Miss.
Thank you guys for watching this meeting. Thank you.
John F. Kennedy had to call out the National Guard. 2 people got killed trying to keep James Meredith out of Ole Miss. Damn near burnt the whole school down. Democrats again. Rioting to stop the enforcement of federal court orders. The president had sent in the National Guard again. Throughout the Civil Rights Movement, riots, Newark, Detroit, LA, and sent in the National Guard. I don't even know what the hell they're mad about up there. They're just mad. University of Alabama. Vivian Malone, George Wallace, standing in front of the door to find a federal court order to let James Hood and Vivian Malone go to school at the University of Alabama. Again, Tampon Tim Walz.
Tampon.
Grooming Gavin Newsom. And Fat Boy Pritzker. I think Pritzker's on a diet. I think he's taking that Wegovy or something, taking a shot because he's too damn lazy to get there and walk in and exercise. He's got to be doing something.
Damn.
That stuff wastes. Don't just take your fat away. It takes away your muscle too. So he's looking all haggard and bent over because he ain't got no muscle mass. He still looks like a fool. And I think that transgender that they say is his brother, I think that's him. They get cross-dressing. But I digress. So, same thing.
They say never seen them in the same room together, they said.
Democrat Party governors resisting federal court order. and the enforcement of federal law for their own power. Remember draft dodgers? I don't know if you remember the draft dodgers during the Vietnam War. Back then, you had a draft. Yeah, they was drafting people then to go to war. So, and the draft was ended by Richard Nixon. But these jokers were marching, hell no, we won't go. And they were running Canada.
Right, you don't like America, leave.
Federal law, federal court orders. Hell no, we won't go. And thousands of them went to Canada. And a Democrat, Jimmy Carter, came and he gave them all amnesty. But there it was again. They were marching in the streets. They were fighting in the streets. They were burning up stuff in the street.
Right.
Burning the American flag. Yeah, horrible. Democrats again.
Mm-hmm.
And even when we found out the truth about who the spies were during the Cold War, almost all of them were Democrats. The Rosenbergs, yeah, they were the ones that gave the Soviet Union the atomic bomb secrets, man. 2 liberals. Always working for the enemy, as they are now. And then, boy, you get to the 70s. And it really got wild then. The Black Panthers, SNCC, Stokely Carmichael, same old group. Fight the federal government. Isn't it amazing how it remains the same? How it doesn't change? How these old Democrat governors from George Wallace or Orville Favors to Lester Maddox, Bull Carter, they use the same tactics as their predecessors, KKK. And now we got Minneapolis.
Amazing.
The Democratic Party fighting the federal government. I hope Donald Trump go up there with the National Guard and light all their asses up. I hope he grab Tampon Tim, throw him back with Paddy Wagon, and take him to Guantanamo Bay. Him and Jacob Fry. He need to do to them what Andrew Jackson did to John C. Calhoun. We say, y'all keep it up, talk about succeeding and acting a fool here. I'm going to come down there, and Andrew Jackson would do it. I'm going to come down there, and I'm going to hang all y'all from the first tree I get to.
Damn.
I'm going to hang you for succession. I'm going to hang you for being traitors. He needs to put a stop to this. He needs to let all of these governors and all of these local mayors understand that you cannot block federal law.
Right, Michael. The party never switched. Right. Only 2 people switched. That was it. The party never switched.
Governments have rights, but none of these rights supersede the federal government. It is the preeminent power in this country. And when a federal court says you have to do something, that government, you have to do it. And they need to start telling these people, if you are obstructing us in doing our jobs, we're going to lock you up. If you invade our space while we're trying to apprehend somebody, we are going to conclude that you are assisting that person in escaping federal authorities, and you're going to go to jail with them.
So I put yellow. That's funny.
That means
we all a human race.
Around me, aggravating me.
We are a human race.
I don't want you around me trying to disrupt what I'm doing. I don't want you around me doing anything in any way that's going to stop me from doing my job. In any way. Don't get too close. Don't talk too loud. You better not throw anything at me. You better not even call out. You better not warn them. This needs to be handled. Because the world is watching and the country is watching. And if you show weakness, like hyenas and vultures, they'll come and they'll take you out.
Yep.
So take it from me, Republicans. Y'all not going to win Minneapolis and Minnesota anyway, okay? So y'all can write that one off. But use that state and that city as an example for the rest of the country. That you don't mess with the feds. The Democrats have always played this game.
But we had a J. Edgar Hoover back then that would do what needed to be done. He eradicated the Ku Klux Klan. Yes, he did. He eradicated the Black Panthers. Yes, he did. Stokely Carmichael and Elvis Cleveland had to run the country. Hewitt and Newton had to run the country too. Yes, they did.
Yeah, Vince be coming with the facts,
He shut
man.
down the Symbionese Liberation Army, the ones that kidnapped Patty Hearst. Yes, he did. Yeah, Hoover was doing the work.
Yeah, check his channel out too. He be on it.
He shut down Bill Ayers and the Weather Underground. Yes, he did. Yeah, we need somebody like that. I hope Cash Patel is up to the job.
Wendy, thanks for
Find out
joining
who
in.
these people are. Who's paying them to come from all over the country and try to disrupt these men who are only doing what they're paid to do and what the Constitution tells them they must do. It can't be legal to go out there and aggravate these men like this and these women while they're out there doing their jobs. Where else in America can you do that to somebody? And you got a cook trying to do his job, somebody that's sitting over there messing with him all day long, blowing whistles in his ear. I mean, can't you get disturbing a piece of something on it? Yeah, it's aggravating. And I get tired of it. See, I worked in the penitentiary, so I understand about how to keep order. And they're allowing themselves to be disrespected a little bit too often. So the Democratic Party has always used these tactics. The Democratic Party has always smelled weakness and tried to take advantage of it. The Democratic Party has always hated authority. They've always hated law and order. They want crime. They want insanity. They want illegals. They want dope on the street. A Democratic Party. Heaven is an American hell. They love this chaos. They live in it. This is what they want. They don't want the streets cleaned up.
Nope.
They don't want people being able to walk their dogs or go to the store at night or sit on their front porches. These people are not like you and me. They're insane. They're crazy. What is right is wrong. What is wrong is right. What is black is white. What is white is black. They are insane. They've always been a party of darkness. So let us put our support behind ICE. Let us put our support behind our president. And let's make sure that we give him.
And that's crazy. I believe Matthew chapter 5, verse 44, it says, love your enemies. If you believe in God and Jesus, you should love your enemies and pray for them. I pray for Biden. I pray for Obama. I didn't vote for him, but he was our president. I prayed that they do a good job. Obviously, they didn't, but hey, I prayed for him. I wish nothing ill will on them. I understand how you guys do that. It's wish ill will on each other. We are all one human race, regardless. Like and subscribe. Let's continue.
The support that he needs to put his foot.
Yeah, I do believe in God. And yes, I voted for Trump. Trump don't want to kill the kids. The Democratic Party want to kill the kids, change their gender, and tell them it's okay. And then years later, the kids that change their gender, at least try to change their gender, they committed suicide or they out here causing mass shooting. That's not cool.
So far up, these Democrats behind, that they'll be walking with a limp for the next 3 years. I want to hear Donald Trump tell Jacob Fry and Tim Walz and Keith Ellison and Ilhan Omar and the rest of them Somalians, y'all got one more time to mess with my ICE agents. And y'all gonna be wearing 3 shoes down the street. 2 on your feet and 1 up your ass. That's what I want to hear the president say. And I'm going to keep bringing this here to you because I'm here to wake you up. I hope I did you some good here today.
You did.
So join me again for another edition of the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website and on my...
Hey, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. We could tell jokes. He told his black guys crime run fast joke. I told my Asians all the exact same in the face joke, and we're even. All right, so yeah, shout out to him and shout out to my man that told the joke. Funny guy. Now, this video, hey. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I almost did a reaction to this, but I ain't know how to do it. I was going to do like a regular short or a long. I ain't know how to do it. So I'm going to do it right now since I couldn't figure out how to do it before.
That guy is a clown.
If you don't know who this is, this is Touré. Touré is I guess you would say journalist.
How?
Reporter. I don't know what he is, but he does a lot of television.
He don't know what he is.
I've seen him on CNN with Scott Jennings. We'll get to that in a minute.
He look like somebody uncle, auntie.
I think I've seen him on MSNBC, Jory. He's that kind of guy. Okay. Now, here he's going to say that it's okay for a white person to call a black person the N-word if he does not like the black guy. Watch. And when I say he, I mean Touré. If Touré does not like the black guy in question, then it's okay for the white guy to call him the N-word. Be on the same page? Let's watch.
99.9% of the time, it is wrong for a white person to call a black person the N-word. But we may have found the exception. In Minneapolis recently, a white anti-ICE protester was in a group of anti-ICE protesters yelling at a black ICE Gestapo agent.
I'm taking him out. Last of his kind. I don't got time for that bullshit.
The black ICE agent a house N-word who's working for the KKK. That's right, we have a white man calling a black man the N-word. But this is a little bit different.
What?
White on black usage of the N-word is a very serious issue. But this is a curveball example. Is it wrong for a white person to call a black...
It's wrong both ways. Calling white people crackers or calling us niggas. It's wrong both ways.
ICE officer a house N-word? Let's explore.
Go fish a bot.
The white man
Let's see what they talking about. They're bot and get him out of here.
Was being historically precise. This black ICE agent, he is being a house N-word to the utmost degree. A black man in ICE is a modern house slave. He's a barely paid mule for white supremacy. The KKK were domestic terrorists. ICE is domestic terrorism. I think this is a valid usage of the N-word.
This son of a bitch got all them books up there. I'm pretty sure he ain't read not one of them. Just want to look educated. Come on, man. All them books don't make you smart. Especially if you didn't read them.
He's not attacking his blackness per se. He's attacking his bootlicking choice to be in ICE while being a black man. Being black in ICE makes you a house
Right, look at his eyes. He crazy.
To call you that, it's almost like a professor pointing out, oh, look, there's a modern house N-word. I think this usage is valid and acceptable if it had just been the N-word. That would be problematic. But when he adds the house
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's grow.
So yes,
and learn together.
It is okay to call black ICE agents house N-words. They are.
Okay, there's so much to this. Let me just come back. All right, now Touré, big time leftist, huge leftist. It's always white man this, white man this, white man that. Always blaming the white man. But it's okay for this white man who we always...
It was the same white man who used to stop slavery.
Call him a racist, sexist, fascist. It's okay for that same white man to call a black man the N-word if Touré thinks the black guy deserves it. Now, Touré,
okay, Trump should call somebody the N-word then.
And apply it to other things. What if you have a cop, a black cop? Okay?
Right, I have no problem with the N-word. The word nigga don't bother me. I've been called a nigga all my life. My own people. Amazing. I don't care. What Paul Mooney say? It makes his teeth white.
If a black cop, a black police officer, can it be called a black house N-word? Can it be called that? Because it's a cop. Or do the police support white supremacy?
Hey there.
The police, the modern day slave patrol? So where do we end? How about black guys in the military? How about veterans on the street, homeless? Oh, because they fought for the country and you think that's wrong, then they are also the house N-word. I mean, where do we stop? Either it's okay to use racial slurs or it's not. And if it's not, then it's not. And it shouldn't matter the context. But guys like Touré, I don't like because they read a bunch of books. Shout out to I see one book in the back, 1984. Good book, George Orwell right there. Got a lot of good books back there, some not so good, but so what? If you're still retarded, you reading doesn't make a difference. Your mind is not right. All those books won't improve your mindset. You're going to read those books from your challenged mindset. Until you fix that, all those books ain't going to do nothing for you. You're going to take whatever you want from those books and apply it to your life, rather than getting what you need from those books to apply to your life. And rather than reading books you should read that's going to really improve you, you're going to read what is going to validate you, what you already believe, what you already feel. Now, I'm going to show you an example of how retarded this guy is. I'm show you an example. Okay, Touré. This is him. And I've played the video before. I've played this before. This is going to be Touré on CNN, on a CNN panel. Okay, let's watch this. This is going to be, I don't know, last year, I suppose, sometime. Let's check it out.
Both of you made an interesting point, which is that your view is that Trump is shredding the Constitution. I'd like to hear more about that. But that it seems to me that you all both believe that the unelected part of our government, the bureaucracy, has a responsibility to resist the political leadership. Is that your view?
That's not actually what
not at all.
We said they are upholding the Constitution, the principles of the Constitution, and at times
how
we
is
have
Trump
seen,
shredding the Constitution?
My God, he's like a
seriously, we have to give you a civics lesson that we have.
I don't know
we put all power in the executive
How is
branch,
holding
the legislative branch, the FBI. Now we're in control of the military, silencing media. This is what you do in a dictatorship.
Are you suggesting that the president is not the commander in chief of the military?
I'm suggesting that the president is going to put in charge somebody who is going to contravene the Constitution. And at some near point, this conversation will look very silly for you because
it is silly.
Right now, you're gaslighting. When we get to the actual rubber on the road of this, it will be clear.
I'm interested in this conversation. He's going to put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who? What do you mean by that? The president is in charge of the military, is he not? You said,
What? Really?
Wow. So those in the chat, you guys think this guy's intelligent?
For real? Befuddled. Really? The president is in charge of the military? The president is the chief commanding officer? Yes.
Duh.
Yes, Touré. Yes, he is. You didn't know that? Oh, okay.
How you on CNN talking this bullshit?
I'm interested in this conversation. He's going to put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who? What do you mean by that?
Can't make it up.
The president is in charge of the military, is he not? You said he's going to put someone in charge.
Why are you confused?
He's in charge of the military.
Hey, he had to get saved by Abby. Abby had to.
Wow. Even Abby is terrible, but I'm surprised he said she jumped in because usually Abby don't even jump in. She let them talk all type of bullshit. And soon Scott started checking him, then she started cutting Scott off when he's cooking. I'm surprised she jumped in this time. Amazing.
They come in and save him. Hey, shout out to you, Abby. I like you, Abby. You're cool. But that was a crazy save. Because your friend needed it because he was out there about to die. Look at his face. He needed to get saved. So shout out to him for coming through.
His mind buffering.
Hey, right at the bell. Like a boxer getting beat up on the rope. He get hit. Boom, boom, boom.
His mind buffering.
And he's saved. So yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. People that don't know anything, that think they're smart,
Subscribe.
they go out there and talk like they know something. And then when they talk for a while, you're going to start to realize, like, you know what? You're not really all the way there. You got a few trees short of a forest. You're a few crayons short of a whole 64-count box. Okay? You're a couple of eggs short of a dozen. You're not all the way there. And that's what I'm talking about right there. And the reason why I would even respond to a guy like this is because he's on TV. He's on TV with a platform. People listen to him and they believe what he says. So I got to come in and I have to be able to fact check him the same way that Scott Jennings did. You see? See how that works? All right. So there we go. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all the good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. This is funny. Now, this person lives in a house full of alternative lifestyle type people. You got the LGBT and the trans and the this and the that. And
It's
we got
cool.
the septum
You
ring.
say dark skin,
Okay,
it's
we got
cool.
all the things in one house.
Dark brown, that's
Now,
cool.
I believe her mom or somebody came through with a shirt that got them all triggered. Check it out.
So, we all know I'm incredibly queer. I also live with 2 trans men. My mother has been coming over to assist
Amazing.
with some moving.
Thank you for subbing. Thank you for subbing. Thank you.
And she really thought it was a bright idea to wear an I Am Charlie Kirk shirt into an entirely queer household. We also know I'm disabled.
Where?
That's a textbook trauma bond.
With a nose ring?
I have to ask for help. She comes and slaps me in the fucking face. Intentionally. Insidiously.
Oh my gosh. Hey, that is hilarious. That is so funny. Hey, first of all, R.I.P. to my brother.
You can't judge how you get your help.
That's my brother right
Don't
there.
judge how you get your help.
Hey, that's he white. I don't care.
You
That's
got
my
your help.
brother,
Don't judge
R.I.P.
it.
to Charlie. And shout out to mom. Hey, you know what? That's mom testing to see if you're truly inclusive. Okay, she over there helping you out. I did not hear anything in that video. You talking about paying her any money? Nah. Mommy, can you come help? Sure, baby. I'll come on and help you. Okay. You and them 2 transformers you got in your septum ring, I'm going to come help you. But check it out. I'm wearing this shirt. You mad? You mad? Oh, well. Oh, well. I thought y'all were inclusive, but it's not for me. You see, conservatives, we're really inclusive. Not only will I come help you, I'll come help your 2 trans friends, and it ain't going to be no big deal. But you got to accept me. If I'm going to accept you, you got to accept me. So shout out to her. Shout out to mom. That is funny. That is hilarious. And R.I.P. to Charlie. R.I.P. All right, now, here's a good one.
Right, the eyes and that nose
Here's
ring.
a good one. For the Valentine's Day, I got a little dating thing in here, but it's about this woman. Her TikTok page says she's Slavic, European, right? So you got a Slavic, like Polish. A Slavic woman says that she's gone up with liberal men, but these guys do not hold a candle up to the Republican men. All right, let's check it out.
I went out with few liberal men and they were poor. You know why they're usually poor and Republicans are not? Because they think about some bullshit that brings them no money. They think about immigrants' rights, this rights and this rights. I realize these people are changing the country. You can say that. But also you're a man. Bring money, bring revenue to this country. This is the best way you can change it. Bring something beneficial for everybody. They study all of this bullshit, democracy, blah, blah, but then they never make the actual change. And the actual change would be make a sustainable business. You care about ecology, make this, that. You have so many options. This is America. They can only study these theories. They can only go on riots, but actually they never do anything. They don't even provide for their families. We care about women's rights so much. You pay 50-50 with a woman. You don't fucking respect her. Shut the fuck up.
All right, there we go. So sorry for the cussing. I apologize if you got sensitive ears.
Stormtrooper, I don't know what's wrong with him.
But that's right on point. Now listen.
And that?
What she's saying is right on point. These liberal guys, man, they're not trying to really actually do anything. The liberal guys, what they want to do, they want to go protest for money. They want to go try to go get some government benefits. Full-grown man, fully able, 25 years old. This dude 6 foot tall, in shape, at the crib chilling. It's like, bro, you're just wasting your life. What are you doing? But the conservative guys, Republican guys, the guys that I know that's conservative, we out here, we got businesses, take care of kids, take care of families, take care of everything. Okay, we make stuff happen. We really go out there, we go getters. We're not lazy, we're not soft. We're going to be the ones that drive the country forward in a serious way. The liberal guys going to protest, the pro-feminist guys don't actually do anything other than that. So yeah, she is right on point. All right, and I know she's somewhere with a nice Valentine's right now. I already know it. I already know. All right, shout out to her. Now, she will have a date, but this one here, this young lady, I'm not quite so sure. Now, what we've seen quite a bit in Minnesota is a lot of the white liberal women harassing the ICE agents, police, or whoever.
Big Mama, thank you, Big Mama. Thank you, 007. Thank you.
And in my humble opinion, what they want is that masculine energy that they don't get from the liberal guys in Minneapolis. Okay, that's what's going on in my humble opinion. Now, this could be more of the same, and it needs to stop because while you're harassing the police, you're taking time away from their police work. And their police work is what makes us all safe in this country.
Hello.
Not just them, but of course, military, everybody else. But locally, wherever you at, the police do the most to keep you safe. You getting in the way, you're just in the way in general. Well, let's watch.
What are you doing?
What am I doing here?
Why are you here?
I was just doing a collision report, ma'am. Okay.
Are you guys going to be here much longer?
Until I'm done doing my job.
Because one of the teachers, when I dropped off over there, said y'all been circling since about 8.
Okay. Well, I'm just doing my job, so the quicker I do
Your
my
job
job...
at the elementary school since about 8 a.m.?
I wasn't here.
There was a collision here at the elementary school?
You have a good day. I'm going to continue to do my
You
job.
work for us, and you're scaring these families.
Okay. Well,
you
I'm
should
gonna
probably
continue
go
to
do
my
your job where your job lives. Because I don't
so-
see that it needs to be right here all morning.
I'm going to explain something.
Mm-hmm.
The person that I was just working with left approximately 5 minutes ago. This was a collision report for them. I'm doing my job. I gave them all their information.
Can you maybe, like for a second, acknowledge that you could be a really upsetting sight for people right now?
The 90s cop stash. Oh, man, I ain't think about that.
I get it. But like for us to be able to collaborate with y'all at all going forward, you're going to have to show us some humanity. You're going to have to show us circumstances and the feelings that you evoke. Because like, it would be so rad to feel like you're here for us. It would be so rad to feel like you guys get it and understand that you are actually the defending line between us and the fucking fascism. But
Hey, we go through her
that's
fascism.
overt, until that's overt that you're part of our community,
Well, ma'am,
then I don't think you should be lingering
with
here.
absolutely all due respect, I'm not going to continue.
Make asylum great
I'm gonna
again.
try to
Yes.
finish my job as fast
They
as
need
possible.
to.
Okay. Keep in mind that you are cussing. We are in front of a school, so please just
That
keep
is
that in
fair.
mind, okay?
I'll give you that. That's fair.
Okay. So the quicker I get this done, I can leave. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not
just
really not trying to bother
really
you.
be
Okay.
thinking about these kids and these moms.
Look, I get it, ma'am.
You know what moms are going through right now, right?
I do understand that, but let me just please. I'll get this out of the way, and I'll be out of everyone's
I
hair.
sure
okay?
would appreciate that.
Yep. You have a good rest of your day.
You
Okay.
too.
Okay, so it's like, what's the point of doing all that? Why do all that? I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing the report. What are you doing? You took all them 2 minutes. You took all them 2 minutes to just work this guy's nerve.
For no reason.
And the time you took, he could have used to do the report, and he would have been out of that area sooner. And then I don't like this whole thing where they say, "Oh, well, we want you to collaborate." I don't need your collaboration. Awful. And if you don't know, again, that acronym AWFUL, affluent white female urban liberal awful. These awfuls just get in the way, make things take more time. trying to film me, trying to go viral, trying to get content. It's like, man, you just really in the way.
Right, you want to clicks and likes, right?
In the way in general. So get out the way. Let me work.
No
and
audio.
Continue to be safe. That's what I would say. So yeah, shout out to the sheriff out there. That wasn't even ICE. That was just like local people. See what I'm saying? They mess with everybody. ICE, Border Patrol, regular police, whoever. Hey, he better than me. I tell you what, he's much better than me. Because the patience, man, look, I have a lot of patience, but at a certain point, hey, I got to do that my door today. Call himself soliciting. We don't really do that. We got a sign that said no soliciting.
Right, Hammer.
So
right, go do something else. Go cut the grass.
Bro, don't worry about it. Have a good day. You know, I should be like high pressure.
Thank you.
Your neighbor, have a nice day. Have a good one. Hey, I got that dude in and out of there in 5 seconds. 5 seconds flat. Like, boom. You ain't going to talk to me to the front of my house. Just like the cop. I'm not sitting there talking to you for this whole half hour over what I'm doing right now. We're not doing that. Now, this is a video that may cause an argument among some people about the generation gap between the boomers and maybe millennial Gen Z. I can't tell how old the person is talking to her boomer dad. But she's saying that she's trying to tell her father that they had it easier in his generation than she has it to buy a home. But he's not really feeling that too tough. He pretty much, he shut that down pretty quickly. Let's watch. Sound and the video, and let's let it rock.
The reason why you guys could afford houses was because
we worked our ass off and bought it.
Okay, but you're trying to say that we don't work.
No,
everything's very
you're
expensive.
An idiot because you're living in a house paying all that rent.
Okay.
All right. All
right,
you
Molly.
Do is you're paying more rent than you would a mortgage.
Okay, how am I going to get a mortgage?
Well, you save up your money and.
How? I'm paying the rent.
Oh my God! What a freaking asshole.
The reason.
I'm sorry for the cussing, but he had to say that at the end. Now look, here's my opinion about this. He's right, but she has a point as well. But he's mostly right, and I'm gonna explain. Yes, things were much cheaper during the boomer generation when they were coming up, when they were young to buy a house. Yes, things were much cheaper, but what did you actually make back then? How were you able to make money? Did they have access to credit cards? Did they have access to payday loans and Klarna and all this and that and all kind of extra stuff? And they had to work very hard in order to get what they wanted. Regardless of whether it was cheaper, they had to go very hard and sacrifice to get what they wanted. All the modern day creature comforts that we have, they did not have. This is before cell phones, internet, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all these creature comforts that we pay for, by the way. We pay a nice premium, Ozempic, all of that. And by the way, talking about Ozempic again, if you can afford Ozempic, then you're able to afford diet and exercise rather than Ozempic. But that's a different story, and I digress. My point is that we pay for quite a few things today that were not even available during the boomer generation. So yes, they work hard. My parents worked very hard. My mom at one point had 2 jobs. My dad at one point, no lie, had 4 jobs. 4. He was not Jamaican. Shout out to the Jamaicans working very hard. Okay. Probably, I think the Jamaicans are probably the hardest working group in the country. If they're not, they like right in the top 3. But anyway, 4 jobs. He was a firefighter, so you do the 9 days a month, 24-hour shifts. Then he was like a security guard, worked at Home Depot, and he had one more. I forget what the other job was. It might have been like a janitor or something, like 4 jobs.
Right, I'm 43, Scorpio, and born 82. It was a big difference then. Right, we didn't have all this technology going on right now. We brought in the internet, the pagers, the two-way, the sidekicks, you know? This generation, now, they lost, man. Attention span is no longer there. YouTube Shorts is everything now. 10-second video can go viral. That's crazy. Nobody want to do no research no more.
Jobs. My mom had 2. And so I'm like 11 years old, 12 years old, coming home, ain't nobody there. But that's what it took to be able to raise